Hi, this is Dr. Rahman, and welcome to Black Women's Health. It's all about you, and we celebrate the Black woman. Welcome. I am glad to have you here. Let's talk. So, I have a very special guest with me today. Chris, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. I'm very well. Chris has decided to come on to talk about male-female relationships, specifically black male, black female relationships after the age of 50.
Yep. Here at your service, Doc.
So, would you agree that relationships in general are the hardest and the most rewarding experience a person can have?
Yeah, both male-female relationships and platonic male-female relationships. Yeah, they can be very rewarding.
And so, specifically, when you're talking about romantic love relationships, black male, black female, over the age of 50, hard?
Yeah, I'll say they're hard because it's sometimes difficult to find the right partner, and I think as you get older, more people are married, and therefore there are fewer people to choose from.
It's interesting from a female perspective. There's just no good man out there. They're all taken.
So they say.
You don't believe that's true?
I'm still out here.
And before we get into specifics, maybe we should get some statistics. You're a black man.
Yeah.
You're over 50.
Yes.
You're a college graduate.
Yes.
Working.
Yes.
So why has it been so hard for you?
Well, again, I think it's not hard to find a companion, but to find a real partner can be a little bit difficult. I mean, if you're just looking for male-female companionship, that's not real difficult to find. But if you're looking for somebody who you can really build a relationship with, somebody who's willing to open themselves up and reveal who they are and allow you to do that and not be too judgmental, those people are few and far between.
So let me see if I understand what you're saying. It's not too hard to find sex. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, you can break it down to that. Yeah, sure.
And you think that most older black females are just looking for sex?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, because, at least it hasn't been my experience. I haven't had a lot of casual sexual relationships. So I have had a few, but not that many. Now, that's partially due to the fact that I don't desire that. I desire a real relationship, somebody who I can consider a partner.
So what's a casual relationship in your mind? And why is that less than satisfying to you?
Well, in casual relationships, you may have your set of criteria, and the person may not meet all of those, may not check all the boxes. But you're compatible enough to have a good time with, compatible enough to be intimate with. And that's a companion, that's someone you can have a good time with. Maybe not somebody you want to build a lifelong relationship with.
At the age of 50, most of us have already had our first-time experiences, and we've had relationships in the past. And for women, we've probably had our children, and our children may well be grown. So clearly, what women are looking for in men change, in the sense that we're not looking for him to be the father of our children.
That's true.
We are probably employed if we're single, which means that we're probably not looking for someone to pay our way. So from the older black female perspective, what I hear is that the majority of the time we're looking for someone that can hold their own, meaning that we don't mind being helpful, we don't mind being useful, we don't want to feel misused or abused, but we just want the compatibility and the companionship.
Yeah, I think men can say, or black males can say the same thing. I mean, we want somebody who, at least what I bring to the table, and most of my friends who are still single bring to the table, we're all, for the most part, gainfully employed. We all have, some education. We're not looking for a free ride. We're just looking for someone who's can hold their own and you can build a relationship with. I think what they find out there is there are some women that meet, a lot of women that meet that criteria, but I think when you're talking about building up a partnership, the criteria becomes a little bit more stringent. You start you start looking for things like depth of thought, integrity, just characteristics, emotional characteristics, and willing to open themselves up, willing to reveal who they are and to accept the other person for who they are. Not willing to or not feeling a need to portray themselves as something that they truly aren't. I mean, I think a lot of people bring to their, at least initially to their relationship, what they think you want them to see. And after some period of time, it always comes to light. That's not who you are. And so a lot of times you spend a lot of time wasting time trying to figure out who this person really is, where to me, from the beginning, from the jump, as we used to say, show who you are. And it'll cut right through the chase. It'll allow that person to see who you are and let them decide, and you decide, do you really want to spend and build a relationship with them? Do you really want to spend the time and energy pursuing them? And you still may come up with the answer yes, knowing that this person is not going to be like the lifelong or the lasting relationship, but you can have some fun with.
So this is very odd to me because from what you've said and what I've heard and what I know to be true, we're all looking for the same thing.
Oh, I think we are. I think, unfortunately, life has jaded us to the point where we're not able to reveal exactly what we want. Somewhere along the line, life experiences have allowed us or made us feel like we need to kind of clam up and be a lot more protective of who we are. And I understand that because I think that has happened to me to some degree. But I think one of the things that I've worked really hard as a black male, or as a male in particular, is to be able to be honest about who I am and reveal who I am and not be afraid to let somebody see my shortcomings and my assets and my shortcomings.
And you found that to be true with black women or all women?
Well, I haven't dated really outside my race, but on occasions, but that they weren't really real relationships that I was pursuing to get the person to really know that person deeply. But I can say most of the women I've dated haven't been very revealing of who they are. That you had to really spend a lot of time to find out who they are. I used to always have this saying, sometimes when you first start dating a woman, they send their representative, they don't send them. And then eventually the representative has to disappear, and then you get a chance to see who they are.
And that's the whole courtship process. I mean, that's kind of understood, Initially, I'm trying to create a good impression, so I'm on my best behavior, but with enough time, you get to see who I really am.
Yeah.
So why do black women struggle with this so much?
To be honest with you, I don't know, because I can only speak really from myself. I don't know the dating habits of most of my friends. I mean, I know some of my friends are probably have different objectives going into relationships than I do. I can only speak for myself, and for me, I can say that I've always been pretty revealing about who I am, even during the courtship, because, there's time, there's money, there's energy that I don't want to waste on somebody thinking that this is going to be a lasting relationship that doesn't have the potential to do that. So it's like, as we used to say, panic now and avoid the rush.
Well, let me ask you this. You have been married before.
Twice.
Without going into too much detail, what did you learn from those relationships in terms of black women and dating, and what did it make you want to avoid, and if you know, what did it make you look for in a black
Well,
woman?
I'm not sure what I saw is anything that's unique to black women. I think it's, or even unique to all women. I can just say from my personal experiences that I do need to find somebody who's willing to open themselves up and let me see them, as I used to call it, naked to the world with whoever they are, so that I can decide, so that we can decide whether we can have a relationship. And I just, in neither one of my relationships, I chose people who weren't very open, and that's so contrary to what I think I'm all about. I've opened myself up to the point sometimes where people say, well, I think you have weaknesses. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I'm secure with my weaknesses. I know that I'm a work in progress. So yeah, I always say I'm secure with my insecurities. And, I would love to find somebody who's also secure with their insecurities and will allow me to see them. And then let's form that foundation I think that will help form the foundation for a solid relationship.
So you've primarily dated black women?
Yeah.
By choice?
Yeah.
Have you had any experiences with white women, and are there differences that you perceive between the two?
Yeah, I've had a few, not many. So I have really a very limited sample to pull from. But if what I saw with the few that I've dated, if that's unique to them, or if that's true to them across the board, then I think the biggest difference is that one of the biggest differences is that they are a little bit more catering to their man, that they will work really hard to find what you really like and are willing to do that. Sometimes black women are a little bit more reserved about doing that for whatever reason, whether it's life experiences. I don't think it's anything that's innate about black women, but I definitely found that white women were a little bit more open about letting you see who they are and catering to you to make you happy.
So you need to explain, what do you mean by they cater?
Well,
they cater more to the man.
They're very open about, hey, what do you like, and let me see what I can do to give you what you like, which it's a nice asset to have. But yeah, they're definitely more.
And again, is this sexual or this?
Some of it's sexual, yeah, sure. Some of it's sexual, some of it's not. Yeah. But yeah, sexual in particular, yeah. And they are, I think, a little bit more open sexually than black women.
Are they more aggressive?
Oh, definitely. More aggressive in bed, and again, my sample size is small, but they're more aggressive in bed and outside of bed. Even in terms of, when they make eye contact with you, white women tend to maintain eye contact with you if they see something that they like. Black women tend to give you that quick sister look, and then they'll look away.
What's this sister look?
Sister look will, they'll check you out, but then they'll look away. They won't, a lot of times sisters won't even acknowledge you. And that bothers me about sisters, because, I'm very attractive to our sisters. So, but sisters won't always, if you make eye contact with them, you won't always get a nod like, how are you? Like one of those cordial nods, where white women will do that with brothers, at least the ones I've come in contact with.
So it's very interesting. There's been at least one website that's said that black women were the least desirable of all the women. This was OkCupid, I believe.
Okay. What do they know?
And for a lot of black women, I think it's the desire to feel desired. It's the desire to have someone pursue you,
Mm-hmm.
which might be what you're seeing or what you're experiencing, whereas she may not be as forward or as direct or as obvious in
Mhm.
her appreciation, because we sometimes, in spite of the fact that people like certain features, black women are usually not conceived of as the most desirable
Mhm.
or the most beautiful.
Mhm.
So I would think that that's
Well,
a reaction.
I don't mean to
A
cut you off,
reaction
but
to-
that's not the case with me. I see black women. I have, I guess my goal, as still being a single black male, is to find a black woman who I can build a partnership with, who wants to, and I find black women very, very desirable. And even from a sexual standpoint, I don't find any other ethnic group any more desirable than black women. And I truly, and I'm not just saying this because you are a black woman, Doc, but I truly find I think of black women as being the prize. Because I truly believe if I find the right black woman, as the adage goes, I could possibly live pretty happily with my relationships. And I believe that woman's out there. I don't think my criteria for black women is that stringent that I won't. I'll always be in search of. I just haven't hit the right one.
It's really it's a puzzle, because Ebony did a survey beginning of the year, and they asked black women what was the most common way for them to meet someone, and it wasn't online dating.
Mm-hmm.
It was
I believe
through a
that.
friend.
Absolutely.
It was through a friend. Most of the women were not actively looking for a relationship. Take that back. Most of the women, black women, single black women, were not in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Only a third of them believed that they might possibly find a stable relationship, which is kind of depressing.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because I know there are quality, at least by what I think of as being quality. There are quality black men out here that are looking for quality black women, and they say there is something special about black love, and that is the case, and that's a little depressing because that connection, I think, when made, it's pretty powerful.
So what's creating the divide? Do you think
Well, you
it's
just
society?
mentioned one of them.
Do you think it's society?
I think that's part of
if
it.
I'm looking and I want the same thing that you want, why can't we see each other?
Well, I mean, again, depending on what your life experience has been, a lot of times, you've been hurt. So opening yourselves up and being a little bit more aggressive. Because, whether men are hunters, as they say, but still, I don't know of any man that likes being told no. I mean, rejection is something that, unless you have a really, really thick skin, is something that you don't want to have happen to you. I know for me, I've definitely thought twice about pursuing women that I may have been attracted to because I don't want to be told no. To find out that I'm not as desired by them as I desire them. So yeah, I mean that no one likes no. So that's a hurdle that has to get over. We have to get over. We have to, I think, become a little bit more aggressive if you really want a relationship, in our pursuit, both men and women.
Both men and women.
And women. Oh yeah, definitely. I think men have to be a little bit more aggressive. I think women have to be a little bit more aggressive. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not. I don't think that's a judgment of someone's character if you find a woman that's a little bit more aggressive about. In fact, I can say almost every lasting relationship I've ever had, I can honestly say that I was pursued, not the pursuer, or it's a pursuee, or whatever.
So how is that going to happen? Just recently, Facebook started introducing dating.
Yeah.
And they now say the age of people who are using Facebook is those over 40, which would make you think Facebook might be the place to meet
Absolutely.
somebody.
Could be.
But
and you can
we're not using online dating.
Well, no.
So,
but Facebook's a little bit different because they reveal a lot more. You get a chance to see things about a person's family and some of their interests. I mean, you can write a paragraph on all these websites for dating. That doesn't reveal a lot. I mean, the few times I've done online dating, I have not had any success because a lot of misrepresentation happens there. With Facebook, it's harder to misrepresent because you know people that are looking at that are people who know you. So you got to kind of come clean about to some degree about who you are and what you're about. And so Facebook actually could be a better avenue for dating because
well, it's good in the sense that you're not limited to your personal zip code.
Yeah,
that's
true too.
You could potentially date anyone.
That's
anywhere.
True. Anywhere on the planet. Maybe I need to go back to the motherland and find my soul sister over there. Who.
Well, now that's very interesting because there is a difference between African American women and African women.
Yeah, I've never dated an African woman, but I do like the strong ethnicity in your look.
Well, I mean, Africa is a large continent, and so depending on which country, there's a wide variety to choose from.
Yeah. I being partially revealing, I definitely think Ethiopian women, Somalia women. Well, actually, that's not only true. I take that back. I was about to say I really like their look, but then I think one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen are from Ghana. So that's on one side of the continent to the other.
Well, since you have the continent of Africa and the country of the United States, you're bound to find somebody.
Well, hey, I'm going to throw my ring in the hat out there and see whether somebody bites and says, yeah, I think you're the one for me.
So, what kind of advice would you give to a woman, like similar to yourself, a black woman over the age of 50, a college graduate working, let's say she's had her children, or let's say children are non-issue, but she, like you, is looking for a companionship. What would your suggestion be to her?
Well, again, I think honesty and openness and transparency are all very, very, very important.
So, no, let's get more concrete. Where am I going to see and meet black men or black men that I would want to try to establish that kind of relationship with?
Now, to be honest with you, Doc, I don't know whether I have the answer to that because if I knew that would be the place that I would be to meet black women. Of course, all the sororities and the fraternities have their functions. Your likelihood of meeting a single black male at a fraternity function or single black female at a sorority function is a little higher. I'm not a big fan of the clubs because when you're in a club, you got your club mojo on, you got your club face on, you got your club persona going, and it's kind of hard to break through all that to find who you really are in the club. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know where to go. I mean, I can say if you're involved in community issues, or activists in your community, a lot of times you will meet people of like mind because if you're an activist and that person's an activist, that's something that's you have in common. That could be the grounds for a relationship. Who knows? I don't know.
All right. So what I'm getting from you is that we should actively network.
Well, also your friends have to, I think, be aggressive in helping you too. I mean, as you stated earlier, a lot of relationships, a lot of love connections are made because a friend has kind of screened that person for you. And if your friend's willing to introduce you to this person, there's a certain degree of what they believe is compatibility between the two of you, and they're not going to introduce you to somebody who they think is going to do you some harm, both emotionally, physically. So, But if you're looking for the advice, I honestly believe the transparency, the honesty, coming in, respecting yourself and respecting that person, as I've told a number of my friends, that I think respect is part of the foundation of any good relationship, even before the love and the liking or even the sexual tension. You have to have that certain, if you're talking about a long-lasting relationship, respect is, I think, the foundation of that. You have to respect yourself, and you have to respect, who you're dealing with, give that person a level of respect coming in, and if they don't deserve the respect then that's different. But I harp on respect because I think you can't have a long-lasting relationship without it. And then after that, the love and this, sexual tension and the sexual attraction and the love comes after that. But you got to respect that person, because if you don't, I think that relationship is doomed to fail.
All right. So last question: you're in a room, and there's a black woman that sees you, and let's say she's attracted to you. We don't know how you feel about it. What would you want her to do?
Smile. Make eye contact. Smile. If I nod my head, nod back. Maybe even say, hey. And I'll definitely speak back. Even if we're walking down the street, you don't have to be in something as enclosed as a room. If you're walking down the street and you see me walking down the street and you say, ooh, he's an attractive guy, smile. Say, hey. I'll say hey back, and you never know where that's going to go. But that's the icebreaker. The thing that as I was telling you, that I have a problem with black women, so at least the ones I've encountered, maybe it's something that's unique to being in the northern cities, because I do find like cities like Atlanta, women are a little bit more friendly in general. Like if you walk down the street and you make eye contact with a woman, most of the time they will, if you say hey, they'll say hey back. They won't look away. We're here in Philly and New York, some of the other places up here in the north, that they tend not to be quite as open and friendly. I would love to see the numbers on where the highest percentage of women that are unhappy or are still searching for relationships, whether it's higher up here in Philly, New York, and Boston, whatever, than places like Atlanta and southern cities. Because I do feel people in general and women in general, black women in general, are warmer in the South.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing your opinion. One black man sharing his opinion about black women.
Yeah.
All information is good.
Yeah, hope that helps.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. The pleasure was mine. I want to hear it.
So that wasn't too bad, was it?
It was just painless.
Painless. Oh, that's good. So this is Dr. Rahman saying it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and I look forward to talking with you real soon. Until then, be well, be healthy, and enjoy life.